We all know Stan can be a bit of a prick sometimes. But in some episodes, Stan is truly a horrible human being. From bullying his own son to using his CIA power to seize his neighbors' homes. Today, I'll be going over just some of the worst things Stan has done throughout the seasons of American Dad.
Thank God. Did you pay my bail yet?
Oh, no. I just came to visit.
For the first one, we got the time Stan tried to trick Francine into thinking she killed her friend Melinda. In the episode 4 Little Words, Stan wants Francine to set up her friend Melinda with Bullock. Francine says if it doesn't work, she will say, "I told you so." Now, if there's one thing Stan cannot bear to hear coming from Francine, it's "I told you so."
I cannot hear those words again.
So, they go on a double date. But things go as you can imagine when Bullock is involved. He kills her because he thinks she's a terrorist. The morning after the date, Francine is very hungover and asks about Melinda and the date. Stan tells Francine that Melinda and her got in a big fight, but she cannot seem to remember because she's so hungover. Stan does not want Francine to know how the date ended, so he sets it up to look like Francine killed her. Francine is so sad about what happened. She actually decides to go to India to help the less fortunate kids. But eventually Stan comes to India and spills the truth.
You made me think I was a murderer? Do you have any idea what a nightmare you put me through?
He's such a douchebag. Just because he can't bear to hear 4 words coming from Francine. Moving on, we have the Family Sleeper Agent episode. In this episode, Haley keeps having the same dream over and over again about having kids and being a good mom. She believes she's being brainwashed into living a traditional life.
The lines to get married and have babies while I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid anymore.
Haley, being kinda irrational, decides to move to France to live more of a free life. Now, before she leaves, it is revealed that when she was a kid, she was actually in a sleeper agent program that still can be activated. To stop her before she leaves, Stan activates the sleeper agent program in the airport.
I'm getting fed up with this orgasm.
Agent Small Wonder activated.
He basically takes away her free will because he wants Haley to live a traditional life. Not really something a good dad would do, am I right? How about the time Stan ran an illegal sweatshop? In the episode American Dream Factory, Stan sees illegal immigrants as more or less free labor. This episode is from season 2, a time where the characters in the show, especially Stan, were way more political than the newer seasons. His political views are very clear in this episode.
People, they're parasites sucking on the rich blood of America.
Alright, so basically Stan has a dream about holiday bears being available in stores in Langley. And again, this was the earlier seasons, so Haley had an illegal immigrant as a boyfriend and not Jeff. Stan basically finds out that this guy is able to make the teddy bears in no time. Stan offers $2 an hour plus Mr. Pibb to him and his family.
How'd you like to come work for me? I'll pay you $2 an hour and all the Mr. Pibb you can drink. Maximum 2 a day.
What's really bad about this episode is that Stan doesn't realize what he's doing is horrible, and he actually thinks he's doing them a favor and helping them get a better life. What about the time Stan almost bankrupted the family? In the episode, failure is not a factory installed option. Stan wants a new car, so he heads to a car dealership. Stan, thinking he knows everything, ends up overpaying for a car he didn't really want or need. He sold Francine's old red car for $7,000 to the car dealership and ends up buying it back for $10,000.
Got it for a sweet 10 grand.
We sold it to him for $7.
Yeah, but he let me keep the phallus for no extra charge.
Stan ends up feeling very ashamed because he keeps on getting scammed or hustled at the dealership. So he decides the only rational thing to do is to leave the family because he deems he's not worthy of them. Because of this, Francine and Haley ends up doing housekeeping because they're in so much financial trouble. It's so bad they can't even afford to shower or to do laundry. In the end of the episode, you find out that Stan was just acting crazy to get the new car for cheaper.
Pretending? You put us through all this on purpose?
It was all a scheme. Speaking of acting crazy, we have the time Stan stabs Steve. In the episode, Stan is worried Steve might want to kill him, so he thinks it would be a good idea if they started spending more time together to bond. They try bowling, and turns out Steve is actually pretty good at it. In fact, he's so good, Stan and him are approached by a coach who tells him he can advance Steve's career. Later in the episode, Steve is about to qualify for the pro tour until Stan shows up with a knife and stabs Steve's ankle, making it impossible for Steve to play again. He's always so extreme in his actions. Steve figures out it was Stan and confronts him. Stan reveals he was just afraid of losing Steve. Yeah, so great idea to go stab him in the ankle. Not even Christmas is safe from Stan. In the episode, For Whom the Sleigh Bell Tolls, Stan is determined to give Steve a gun for Christmas, but Francine is very much against this.
Promise you won't get him one for Christmas.
I promise I won't get Steve a gun for Christmas.
Stan gets him one anyway, an AK-47 of all weapons. Stan does not teach Steve how to use this gun, but tells him to shoot a snowman in the parking lot. Unfortunately, Steve ends up killing an innocent guy Steve is understandably very upset. For Stan, this just seems like any other day in his CIA life. There was also the time he ruined his new friend's life. In the episode Dope and Faith, Stan prays to God for a new friend, and in walks Brett. They become best friends and do many different activities together. Everything is going great until the day Brett reveals to Stan that he does not believe in God. This is heartbreaking to Stan. After this discovery, Stan tries to prove God exists to make Brett believe. This does not work, so Stan comes up with a new plan. If he destroys Brett's life, he will have no choice but to start believing in God. Stan blows up Brett's house, destroys his business, and makes his family leave him. Brett ends up trying to commit suicide. In a turn of events, he wakes up at the hospital, and instead of believing in God, he made a pact with Satan. The last one on my list is the time Roger tried murdering the whole family. In the episode, The Great Space Roaster, Roger is trying to kill the whole family because they were roasting him on his birthday, which he asked for, may I add. They end up going to space to get away from Roger, but of course, this doesn't work. He follows them, and now the family is trapped in space with him. Francine and Haley are begging for Stan to help them, since they are trapped by Roger. Stan does not want to help them, and he decides to run for the nearest escape shuttle. He shows zero empathy for his family. Can you imagine this?
Well, I did all I could.